fight that neither fighter gets hurt, and it's just happened to be. It's just one of them things that happen, and just try to look past it and try to keep it out of my mind as I.
Yes. You had scored a great victory against Sean Thomas. You had knocked him out. And then after the fight, what happened? He was taken to the hospital?
Yeah, so they had to carry him out of the ring, and they took him to the hospital, and I think it was, he stayed in a coma. I think he died like three weeks later.
After you fought him and knocked him
yes.
out. Now, when it was over, of course, you weren't obviously trying to kill him, but did you feel some guilt, you know, even though, since he had died at the...
Yes, I mean, it stays in your mind, and I mean, the guilt saying, fighting for money, you know, and I never got to tell the parents that I was sorry and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you never got to talk to his family or anything
Nope.
to tell them you were sorry. And, you know, really, there was more than one person that died in that fight, because your career, you know, you were one of the hottest prospects in the world at that time.
Yeah.
17 wins, 16 knockouts. You know, people thought you were going to be the next lightweight champion of the world. And several months after that fight, you fought Greg Haugen, more punching power. You lost to Haugen. Haugen turned around and won the world championship after that.
Yes, and I think defended it 3 times or something.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times.
So that fight hurt more than the opponent. It hurt you, and it hurt your career too, didn't it?
Yes. It took a, you know, like a boxer's, they call it killer instinct. You know, usually when I get somebody hurt like that in the ring, I'd stay on top of them, and it wasn't in me no more.
I am looking at an impression of the Los Angeles Times from July 6, 1985. Headline: Boxer says he'll continue to fight despite the death of last opponent. You've already seen Kerry Farr's video. Man, Kerry is a personal friend and a client, and he called me yesterday and said, I put this up today, which was yesterday. I looked at it. This is tomorrow, but it's really today. But if you're looking at it from the point of view of yesterday, this is tomorrow. And I said, this story needs to be told. Here's a man, Chris, the Southern Rebel, Chris Calvin. By the way, he happens to be from Nashville, like I am. Most of my roots here. And boom! Gets into a fight. He's a great fighter. I mean, great fighter. You heard Kerry say, one of the hottest prospects, 17 wins, 16 knockouts. Do you see what that means? Man, I haven't even done the math, but it's up in the 90 percentages. I guarantee 95, A+, magna cum laude. Everything changed. Everything changed in a moment. That's all it takes. Now, we wish and give the greatest blessings to Chris Calvin, and the torment that you may have seen that he's had to live with. I never got to tell the parents. Maybe you could say it was he didn't take advantage of the opportunity when he had it. Maybe that was true, but all of us who have a few years know that a lot of things we would do different later on, and we don't have the second chance. He tried. He said, I tried to look past it and keep it out of my mind. He determined to fight. He put the fight up. But what did he say? They call it the killer instinct. Now he just killed a man. You know the story. Usually when I had somebody hurt like that in the ring, I'd stay on top of them, and it just wasn't in me no more. By the way, that's Tennessee talk, you know. Killer instinct. What does this show? Well, let's take an inventory. The man, Chris Calvin, still had the same knowledge that he had 3 weeks or 3 months earlier. Before he had killed the guy, he was on a winning streak. And not only a winning streak by knocking people out. The last guy, Sean Thomas, they carried out of the ring. He was in a coma then. He died 3 weeks later without ever waking up. But Calvin still had the same knowledge. We can presume he still had the same skill. 3 months, I'm sure he was still training. He knew what it was to be a pro. He was going for a fight. That wasn't what it was. You see, there's knowledge, there's skills, and there's attitude. Now, you tell me if I have a case for the primacy of thought in this one. The primacy of thought is what I talk about. And I always decry and say that's also its greatest weakness. Because so many people, they think that's where it stops. They think thought is a 4-letter word. It's the primacy of thought. You have to have the right thought. But if you don't get into fiery motion, attitude, you'll never make it. Chris, the Southern Rebel Calvin, had the same knowledge. He had the same skills. He had not the same attitude, the same drive, the same fire, the same, like he said before, when he got someone hurt, that was another good signal. They call it the killer instinct, and I'm sure in that profession that's appropriate. And boom! I just didn't have it in me no more. There you go. The primacy of thought. Like Carrie Farr said, or observed would be a better way to say it. There was more than one person who died that night. Yeah, there was. Chris Calvin. Not may he rest in peace, because he's still with us. You just saw the video last night. But something that shows the primacy of thought. People ask me all the time, oh, listen, just thinking can't make any difference. Well, I would say, why don't you ask Chris Calvin?